not. If you've been watching your emails, maybe you know that tonight I'm here live for a very special edition of Art Beads Live. This is Designing with Deb on Sunday night, and we are doing I-cord knitting at night. I know it's corny, but we are celebrating something really special this weekend. If you haven't had a chance to see this yet, or maybe you have, we are celebrating one of our most beloved tools here at artbeads.com. This is the I-cord knitter, and this event is all about this tool. So we've got a special sale going on, and you might want to take advantage of this one. So this tool is the kind of thing that you've probably been intrigued by. Maybe you've watched a few things about it, maybe seen Becky present in the past. Maybe you were at Bead Fest and you saw this tool live, and maybe you thought to yourself, geez, I'm not sure that I want to invest in that right now. Well, guess what, everybody? It is 50% off this weekend for a flash sale. And it's just through the end of today. Like, the time is almost up for this tool. So we're doing a special event to finish up our weekend. Maybe you saw Julie here yesterday morning for some Saturday morning cartoons with the I-cord knitter, but we're going to do some night knitting with the I-cord here on Sunday night to finish up the weekend. I see lots of you popping on. Let me go back and see who all is here. Oh my gosh. Hello, Michelle. Thank you for being here, friend. Tanya is here. Linda Emery. Hi, Elaine W. Santa Barbara girl. Hello, hello. Tracy says, hey, Christy's here. Anteater Diane. Hi, Anteater Diane. Let's see. Nicole O is saying, Michelle, my belle. I always hear that song in my head when I see her name pop up. Kim Caldwell is here. Mary B, hello. Santa Barbara girl says she bought this tool and she's so excited to get it. It is a lot of fun. Let's see, Eric is here too. Hi, Eric. Thank you guys for being here Sunday night. Christy says, I love your earrings. Christy, this is a project that you can find in the design studio here at artbeads.com. Maybe Michelle can direct you guys to the design studio or to this project specifically. These are riveted heart earrings, and they were so fun to make, so I thought I would wear them tonight. Hi, Vicky. She's here from Maryland. Who else is here? Lisa in PA is here. LJ is here. Gina is here. Arizona Lynn is here. Denise is here from North Carolina. Thank you guys for being here and hanging out. I'm so excited. Chris is here. Gigi is here. Hi, I'm glad to be here Sunday night too. This is fun. Ellen is here. Anne is here. Christy is here. Oh my goodness, you guys. Thank you all for being here and joining. So we're going to have some fun tonight. As I mentioned, we're going to be working with the I-cord knitter, but I want to make you aware of a few things first. So let's see. The I-cord knitter is 50% off through the end of today. And guess what? If that's not enough already, you're going to get a gift with purchase. And the colors will vary, but you're going to get one of these Art Beads Designer Blend seed bead blends. And this one has a variety of silvery tones, but there's some multicolored ones. This is a great gift with purchase, and it's perfect to go with the I-cord knitter. So super, yeah. And Eric says, that's no skimpy tube. No, this is the big guy. The little ones are normally this size. Here's a smaller one. This is the normal size. This is the big size. This is the size you're getting. Gift with purchase. So that's a good deal. And I would be remiss if I did not tell you that everything is free shipping. Like all the things. Not just the I-cord knitter. Not just if you have the I-cord knitter in your cart. Like all the things. So free shipping is always something everybody loves. So take advantage of the free shipping. And this is a big item to package up and send to you. So it's great to have that free shipped. Maya is here from Utah. Hello. Lisa said she ordered hers yesterday. She can't wait to get it. Friends, we have some fun with this tool. One more thing, there's also a sale going on right now. Our best sellers are 20 to 30% off through the end of tomorrow. So that sale will continue on, but this special flash sale is only good through the end of tonight. So we've got some things to do with this tool before this runs out so that you can hop on the bandwagon and you can pick up one of these I-cord knitters as well. Lots of folks saying they got theirs and they're like on their way, all, starting to come across the country to them. So yes, I think a lot of you saw Julie's show yesterday. Julie rocked it. She did some really cool stuff. I'm not going to do anything terribly different, but in case you missed the show yesterday or you want to see my take on it, we're going to talk about the I-cord knitter tonight and just a recap of how to shop. So if you're watching at artbeats.com/live, that is the best place to watch the show live and to shop the show live. So if you're watching, you will see on your screen, you've got a share button, you've got a heart button, and you've got a little shopping bag. Everything that's in the show is in that shopping bag. So I loaded up a lot of different types of cords that you can use, some charms, some seed beads, some things that you can use with the I-cord knitter, and some needles. So you can drop as many things as you want into your shopping cart, do all that shopping while we do our little class today, and you can check out and get everything on the way to you, all the way across the country if you are far away, or right down the street if you're right down the street. So lots of great goodies in the shopping bag. I don't go away if you do your shopping while you watch. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, come on over because we're going to be doing a giveaway tonight. And I can't see your comments live. So click on the links in the descriptions of the shows from YouTube or Facebook, and you can participate with us over here. Whew, I'm going to need a sip of water. It is the hottest time of the day in my studio, so the sweat's going to start pouring. And I'm going to need some water. So we're going to get going. Hi, Luann from Seattle. Let's see. It says, Susie is asking, it says it will do yarns up to what size? Up to sport size yarn, which I think is a size 2 yarn. And there's other materials. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Let me go ahead and flip my camera. Let's get started. Let's unbox the I-cord knitter so you know what to do when you get this home. So this is our I-cord knitter. Now I'm going to maybe make you a little bit dizzy with camera work tonight because, hi Lynn, because we're going to be working with this tool and it doesn't fit perfectly in the shot to actually do it, but we're going to move it around. So just bear with me as I move the camera around. So your packaging looks just like this, and you're going to open it up, and there are 3 parts, just 3 parts to make some magic here. Now, one thing you'll want to do is make sure that you don't throw out this insert. So if you want to save the package, which is what I did, to store it, don't throw this out because your instructions are on the inside. And this is excellent instructions. So I'm not always a fan of instructions that come with tools. This is a good one. Very detailed, nice pictures here to help you out. So if you want to watch the video, you can watch the video, this video, other videos on artbeads.com. But this is also a great way to get your project set up and learn the basics of the I-cord knitter. So here it is. It is a lovely quality product made by Tulip. Tulip is one of our beloved brands here at artbeads.com, and this is the main piece of the tool. There is also a weight that is included. So unlike some other tools where you need weights, the weight is included, and it is easy to use and very, very nice. Nice quality, very heavy. And you're going to get a Tulip crochet hook. This is important for a few things in the use of this tool, and you could also crochet with it. I would suggest keeping all of this together, keeping your hook, your instructions, and everything in the packaging, and store it that way. It's a nice heavy plastic, so this is a great way to keep it and pack it away when you're not using it. So I'm going to set my packaging off to the side. I'm also going to shut my door because my cat just vacated, leaving the door open as she does. So, okay, so here is our tool. Now, you can use, as we've already touched on, you can use yarn. So you can use up to a sport weight yarn, and you can also use cords that you can find right here at artbeads.com. So who doesn't love a good S-Lon? So S-Lon is a great cord for macrame, for knotting. It comes in a variety of colors. So there are some of these little spools available in the shopping bag for you. I believe I got some of the colors, but not all of the colors. So you can go to the website and grab whatever other colors you want that are available. You can also use Amiot beading thread. This is one of my favorites. It's made by Toho, and it is a lovely cord. It comes also in a variety of colors, and there are even a few variegated choices, maybe 2 or 3. I can't remember. I think there might be 2. So this is an amazing cord. It is 100% polyester, again, in lots of different colors. So I dropped some of these in the shopping bag as well. So you can grab a bunch of colors and start playing with those. Now, as far as beads go, we need to make sure that whatever beads we use along with our cording is going to fit into this little tube in the center of our tool. So usually like a size 6 seed bead and smaller is good. So you might find that maybe some 3mm or 4mm bicones might work. I have not tried those, but there are some opportunities to explore. But you want to make sure that whatever you're doing is going to fit through that tube. Now, a couple of other questions just to get out of the way. You cannot use wire on this tool. You really only want to use sort of fabric-based kinds of materials. You can also use your good old-fashioned embroidery thread. So I've got a little project that I did with that I'll show you in just a few minutes. So if that you have in your stash, you can also use that. So Anteater Diane says, Amiot is my new fave. I love Amiot as well. It's one of my favorites for macrame. All right, so let's do a quick review of the tool. So this inside is where all the magic happens. So you'll see you've got 4 hooks, and they have little latches on them. So if you can see that one that's sticking up right there, it has a little latch hanging down. That's what makes the magic right there. And we're going to make that work by turning the handle here. So super easy, very smooth, and all of those little hooks are going to come around and it's going to catch your yarn or your material, your thread, whatever you're working with to create your I-cord. Now, what is I-cord? Well, it's a knitted cord. And I'll show you one example of it. By the way, here is my my practice bin. So truth be told, I'm pretty new to using this tool. I got mine last year. I played around with it a little bit. I got distracted. It went in the cabinet. And then when we were having this event, I said, let me do one of the shows to promote it. And so this is mostly what I did over the course of the last few days. So lots of practice. And this is what I suggest for you is practice when you get yours home. So here is, I was about to show you the cord. Here is the cord in yarn form. So this is a very thin yarn and it's got a little bit of a sparkle to it. And it just makes a very simple but lovely little cord. So you can use this for a bracelet. In fact, I just literally tied one together and I'm just going to roll it onto my wrist. And look at that pretty pink I-cord. It's very cottagecore, very fun, and there's so many things that you can do, but this is like the most simple thing you could do. Create something with yarn and wear it on your wrist. You could even make a necklace just with a simple cord just like this, and you could put things on this, embellish this, and you could also add beads. And I would suggest if you're going to add beads, you probably want to use one of the cords we talked about. So the Amiot or the Eslon cord. So this is what it looks like. That's what I-cord is. It's a knitted cord, and people use it for a lot of things in their knitting projects. They make handles out of them. They add them to the outer part of a blanket or something like that for a little bit of an accent. But we're using it in jewelry form today to talk about how this can work for jewelry making. So you can also make a coaster or some other kind of household thing. And during Julie's show, I saw lots of people make some great suggestions. So this tool is going to create some I-cord, and all with the magic of these rotating hooks with latches. Now, I mentioned you're going to get this very easy to use weight. You see, all I'm doing is pushing in that little piece right there, and it's opening up and then it's closing. And this is heavy and weighty. Thank you, Mary, for sharing. I appreciate that. You're also getting your crochet hook. So this is everything we need to make something fun. So what I suggest, if you are a beginner and you're just getting started, you're just getting this at home, grab some yarn. I know y'all have some. You're all crafty. You've got some yarn. I have this really pretty pink yarn that has, thank you for the hearts, you guys. I have this pink yarn that has a little bit of sparkle in it. And I'm going to sit down now. So I've been standing up to try and show this to you. So I'm going to move this camera down just a touch, and I'm going to pull my yarn, just pull out some of the yarn from the skein here, the small one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this through these two notches, or this loop and then this notch. So you've got this piece of metal here on the side, and it's a guide. And we're going to go up through that, and then we're going to go down through this little notch in our plastic. So we're going to come up through like that. Then we're going to go down. And what we want to do is take our yarn and drop it into that tube down the center. And it's going to come out the bottom. So you're going to pull that out. And one more thing that you should do before you get going is you should double check that all of the latches are not closed. So I'm just going to come in and press these down. They're up just a little bit. I'm going to come in with my crochet hook. And I'm just going to tap them downwards. If you were to leave those closed, when they spin around, they're not going to do their job of grabbing your yarn or your cord or whatever it is that you're working with. So we've got this tail hanging out of the bottom here, and this is where we're going to attach our weight. And this is super easy to do. All you need to do is tie a knot. And for something thin, I do tie like a double knot just to make sure it's a little substantive like that. Okay. So then what you're going to do, let me see if I can show this in a way that you can see it well. So I'm going to open up my weight and I'm going to drop in my cord, and then I'm going to let go of that button, and this thing ain't going anywhere. This is a nice heavy weight, and this is going to hold and give you the tension that you need to create that cord in a consistent manner. Okay. So what I do next is I like to pull the cord in, and I am left-handed, so I've got this on my left side. So I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to push this close to the tool. This is how I do it to get started. And you are going to need your crochet hook to get started. And this is probably one of the, well, there's a few little sticky parts to this, but this is probably one of the trickiest things, but it's really not hard. And once you get used to it, it just becomes second nature. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, let's see if I can show this in a way that you could see it. So you're going to want to turn, actually I'm going to pull this out a little bit more. You're going to want to turn that handle, and you're going to want your cord to be picked up by one hook. And when you get to the second hook, you don't want the hook to pick it up. So you're going to move your cord behind the next hook. So you're bypassing it. And then we're going to turn, and we want that next hook to grab. And it did. And I'm putting a little bit of tension over here on this side. And then, let me get a better hold on this. And then I want to skip over the last one. So I'm going to come in with my crochet hook again, and then I'm just going to get started. And for the first few times that I spin this around, I'm going to go very slowly. And what you're going to see is those hooks are picking up your cord or your yarn or whatever you're working with, and it's creating like a little bit of a spider web down there. Okay, and I do a few this way, and then what I do is I'm going to move this. So I'm going to move this, and I'm going to move my camera, and you're going to maybe see my dirty floor in my studio, but this has a hole down here, right? So I'm going to take my weight and I'm going to drop that off the side of my table so that it's doing its job. It's hanging, it's giving me tension. And then I'm going to continue on with my knitting. And you're going to feel it do its thing. And it's going to make some clicky sounds maybe. But I kind of go slow until I really feel like, yeah, it's doing its job. So you see, look at that little spider web that it's creating. Really, really cool. And that's just, it's magic. So it's creating a knitted rope and it's going down in that tube. I'm just placing my hand over here on my yarn, giving it just a little bit of tension, but not enough that it's stopping it from sliding up and going through my two guides and doing its job in the tulle there. There's a better shot. So I'm gonna go a little bit faster. And I've seen people do this very fast. I'm nervous to do it very fast, but it's doing its job. It's doing its thing. And all the while I'm keeping an eye on my yarn off to the side because it's probably going to come to a point where I'm going to need to pull out some more. You can decide how much you think you're going to need when you get a little more practiced at this. And then you can pull out what you need so that you don't necessarily have to mess with it. But maybe you've got a fancy yarn tool that will allow you to spin your yarn. Now, guess what? I'm seeing that cord come out the bottom. So let's take a look. We have cord coming out of the bottom and it looks so pretty. So I am crazy about the fact that just in a few minutes, we made some cord and we're just going to make some more. So we're going to keep going and I'm going to go a little faster here and you can see those needles doing or those hooks doing their job, doing a fantastic job. This is such a nice quality item from Tulip. We had the privilege to meet one of the Tulip representatives last summer at Bead Fest, and they just take such pride in the quality of their items. So this is no exception. So I am now creating cord that is hanging down off the side of my table. And it's looking pretty good. So I think we're going to wrap up this one. And this is just a great way to practice. A great way to get started. Grab some yarn. I know all of you have yarn stashed away. So here's how we are going to dismantle the project so you know how to get this apart, get it off, and then you can move on to the next thing. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. So we're going to do two things. I'm going to, first of all, cut my yarn off because it's still here. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra. You may want to end your project in a certain way, so you might want some tail to work with. Then we're going to open up our weight and just pull that off. But then we need to get this off of the hooks because they're attached. They're not going anywhere backwards. And what's happening here, hooks are letting go of that cord. So I think they are all off. Now, if for some reason it doesn't come off or it gets caught on one of the strands of your piece, you can come in with your crochet hook and just use that to help you get it out. Now, you can pull from this side or this side. I'm going to grab this side and I'm pulling that out, and look, that is magic. We made knitted cord in just a few minutes. I mean, just a few minutes. I yammered a lot more than I needed to. And, you know, we would have had this in a much shorter time even to create this. So super, super fun. And the part here at the end is a little bit tricky. I am going to attempt to show you that. Now, I'm going to use a tapestry needle. I found that a tapestry needle is the best way to help you finish off that end. There are other needles you can use. This is my preferred one. I did put some tulip tapestry needles in the shopping bag, including an assorted pack. But this is an 18. I found this to be a good size. And I'm just going to trim off my end there. And then I'm going to thread this tapestry needle onto my yarn, maybe. This yarn has lots of pieces and parts to it. So here we go like this. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a tail. And what I want to do is go through these loops that were attached to our hooks. And they can very easily pull out as you go around. So I'm going to attempt to attach them all without pulling my thread or my yarn through. And I'm going to take that and pull that tight. And unfortunately, it's not super pretty. Now, I'm not really good at this part. This is a part I'm still learning and still trying to figure out myself. I am really not a yarn person. So this is not pretty. It's like got a little hairdo on it. I don't know. It's funky, but ultimately you'll want to secure that end. Julie did a great job of showing that part yesterday. So if you want to go back and watch Julie do it, she did it right. And then I'm just going to tie an overhand knot, and I'm going to push that down with my fingernail, and that's going to secure my end. And you can do whatever your heart desires from here. You can attach some charms. I put some charms in the shopping bag as well. You can, attach them to one of your loops. You can use a section of this by gluing it, cutting it, and putting it on bead caps and then attaching chain or something. You can put bead caps on the ends of these or bead cones on the ends of these. So that's something you can do. I thought I would show you really quickly one idea that I had, and this was actually, let me move this all out here. So thinking about Christmas in July, I grabbed this is embroidery thread, and I created just a little round piece. I tied it at the top, and I still have the ends to show for it. And I stitched on some seed beads, and this is supposed to be like a little wreath. And you could put this as an embellishment onto a package, or you can make this into a wreath earring. And all I did, I think I put these seed beads into the shopping bag as well. Let me grab a few of them to show you what I did. Actually, let me see if I'm in the right spot. No. So I'm using some wildfire, and I just came up through one of the pieces of yarn, and I actually pierced the yarn itself. And so I came up, and then I picked up some beads. So I want these to look like little berries. These are really, really beautiful, like a deep red bead. And I just pulled 4, and I kind of went through, kind of piercing through the yarn, just kind of created a little cluster of beads. So just created the cluster, and then I kind of went back around and created a little cluster. So you can come in and do all kinds of embellishing of whatever I-cord you create. So if you're creating something with yarn or something with embroidery thread, or even some of the other cording that we've talked about, you can create something like this and embellish it. So just showing you this idea. Guys, I'm not going to give you any finished projects today. I'm just going to give you some things to think about and to start with and practice with when you get your I-coordinator home and get all these fun pieces and parts home with you. Thank you so much. What is that? Beading in, oh my gosh, I can't read it. Boise. So anyways, this is just fun. So this is just one idea for you if you want to embellish. And these are size 11 seed beads. And this is just a regular old, embroidery thread. There is not any embroidery thread available at artbeads.com, but I know y'all have some of that in your stash as well. So that's a fun way to do this. Now let me show you something else you can do. So you can also do some beaded cord. So we talked about Amiot and we talked about Eslon. Let me grab some Eslon. So when you work with these two kinds of cord, it's going to look a little bit different than working with your yarn. So your yarn is really kind of taking out all of the light. So you're not really getting any light coming through your yarn. But when you start working with this thread, it's stiffer. It's going to create a little bit of a tighter knit. So you're going to see through it, or you're going to see some light through it. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. Here's one of my this practice piece, but see what I mean? This one has a lot of light. So you're getting light through this. You can absolutely do this if you like this look. And there's so many beautiful colors. You can create a cord with just about any of those Amiot colors or any of your Eslon colors. I had a little bit of a pink theme going, as you guys can see. But I want to show you some options with beads, and I'll show you how to do it. So this one actually is with, this is Eslon. And this is Eslon with 2 beads per section. So there's going to be beads on one side, and then when you flip it over, there's beads on the other side. And then you've got cord and cord in between. So this makes an interesting look and pretty, it almost looks like a seed beaded piece. Really cool. And I'm sorry, you guys, I'm having trouble at the angle I'm sitting to seeing your comments, but I'll catch up with them in just a minute. So here's with 2 beads on each pass. And then I tried a little something else too, just to play around. So this is a natural color of, I think this is actually the Amiot cord. And I started playing around here, and I did beads on, I did one side, so 2. And then I started a section of 4. So you start to see it kind of twist a little bit. And then I went back down to 2. So it does create a little bit of a twist if you want to try and break it up like that. So you can do a section of just 2, and then a section of 4, and then another section of 2. And I always would always recommend to you to at least start with some just cord. This is just a test piece, so it's not intended to be a project. But at the end, I would leave some, and I would plan it out. How many rounds do you want on one side? How many do you want on the other side? So let me see if I can check comments here really quickly. Let me go back a bit. Did she have a sample with the Amiot or Eslon? So this is, I believe this is the Amiot, and this one is Eslon. So I don't know that you can really see much difference, but both have the same kind of look to them. different than the yarn, obviously. So here's a comparison with the yarn. So the yarn is going to be a little fuzzier, and this is going to have more defined, more defined knots or more defined knits. So if that helps at all. Anteater Diane says, cool, time to break out the ice cream. Oh my gosh, that sounds good. I even haven't had dinner yet, so I'm hungry. Let's see, what is the diameter of the knotter? Looks like Michelle answered that one. What size are the beads? So for these two samples, I used size 8s. And these were both from both of these 8s were from the Toho challenge kits that we were selling last week. So I picked out those beautiful colors, and I believe I was able to put them in the show as well. This blue is phenomenal. So, okay, so that's the beads. Let me see. And you can use size 11s because 11s will also fit on Amiot and Eslon. I don't think a smaller seed bead will fit. And you can go up to like a size 6 seed bead for this, for adding the beads. So I'm going to do another sample of creating, let's make one with a section of, let's make one with just 2 beads on either side so you can see what that looks like. So this is a little bit of a different process. So I'm going to work right from my Eslon. So this is Eslon, and it's in this hot pink, which is in the show. And I think this might be on sale, this pink color. And what you'll need to do is preload your beads. Now, these beads are actually, and I tested this, these are magatamas. These are 3mm magatamas. So they have a triangle shape, and they're 8 O's, but the triangle shape works. So they're really fun. So let's see how these look. And this color against this pink is super fantastic. So a little bit of a different way to do this one. So you'll find with, there are 2 ways you can do a piece with beads. You can go through this guide here and through this guide. The recommendation is not to go through this guide, and I would tell you don't go through this guide because it's much easier to navigate this without that bottom guide. So I'm going to, I had a little stopper on my thread to get myself set up for this, but I'm going to pull my thread, give myself plenty of thread, and I've got all my beads on. This is just going to make a small sample section, but I wanted you to see how this would work, how you would set it up. And this is a great way, just get your cording out, get some beads out and practice. So what you're going to do is just take your cord and you're going to drop it through that center, and don't worry about the guide just yet. Oh, and you know what we should do? I'm seeing my latches are closed. I'm going to come in and I'm going to open up my latches. So a few of them were closed. So you really want to make sure that those latches are open when you get going. So let's always do that when we start. And so I'm going to take my cord and I'm going to drop it down the center, down that tube, and careful not to get hooked onto one of your hooks. And you're going to see it come out of the bottom. You're going to pull that out and you're going to tie a knot. And I do a double knot just to give it a little bit of oomph. But this stopper is so good, it really would just hold on to a single piece of cord without a knot, to be honest. I'm sure it would do that. So I'm going to close that up. That's not going anywhere. It's tight on there. And then I'm going to make sure that my cord is dropping into that little notch. And I'm going to get this fairly close to my tool. And then I want to get it started just like we started the other one. You're going to want to turn your handle, and you're going to want that first hook to grab on, and then you're going to want to skip over the second hook. And then you want your third hook to grab. And then we're going to get close to that, that fourth hook. And I'm going to pull that around. I find that the fourth one is tough. So frankly, you can move it with your hand and then keep going. So now I'm going to hold on to my cord down here, and I'm going to let this get started, going nice and slow and letting those hooks grab on to my cord, doing their job, and creating that little bit of a spider web down the center. And it's going to make some little popping noises. That's completely normal. And then when I feel like it's doing its thing and it's really behaving, I think it is, I'm going to move it to the edge of my table. So I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to move my camera over to the edge again. Remember, we've got that opening at the front of the tool, and I'm going to take my weight and drop it right down there. And then I'm going to just start doing some more knitting, and look at how beautiful that little spider web is. So pretty. This bright pink is so fun. So we are creating that cord, and I'm going to unwind more of my cord off camera here. And then guys, I'm going to say, let's start adding beads. Now, I don't know if my technique is great here, but I'm going to show you what I do. So I've got my beads in my hand now. I've kind of pulled them up here. And what I want to do is I want to release them one at a time. So I'm going to take one, I'm going to let it drop down, and it's going to sit right there next to that needle. And then I'm going to turn my handle, and then I'm going to skip putting a bead on the next one. And then I'm going to take a bead, drop it down, and let it settle in, skip the next one, and then I'm going to drop another bead, and so on and so on. And so, oops, and this I've done. I've accidentally let two beads go. I can reach down in there, grab that bead, and make sure it doesn't get caught up in the magic that's happening here. And it's just taking my beads and taking that cord, and it is creating that cool I cord. So dropping down the bead, and I almost get lost in this as I go because it's so meditative. This is a kind of a fun meditative thing. So and it's hard for me to keep the tension exactly. So I don't know, this might not be perfect, but I'm trying to hold beads, and see, I just can adjust that if I need to. It's important to keep it in that spot here, in that little dip, so that it's oriented the way that it's supposed to be. So let me drop in the next bead, and I hope that you can at least get somewhat of a visual here of what this is looking like. And this is just fun. I mean, it's just fun, a fun project. And think of all of the color possibilities, the bead possibilities. It's just really a really fun project. So pulling that down, dropping. I've just got a few more beads. Oop, and see I grabbed a second bead there, or I dropped a second bead there. So hold that, put that back down. So I don't know if this is the best method here, the way I'm doing it, but I tested it out. Seems to work okay, and seems to be creating the cord like I want it to. And you're kind of lifting off of that divot to drop the bead. But always try and make sure, oop, and I really dropped a lot of beads that time. So let me grab those guys. Let me grab those out of there. Excuse my hand, excuse my fingers. So dropping it back down, letting the tool do its thing. Only got a few more beads to go here, and then we should have something that we can look at and see the results of. And one more bead is in my hand. There we go. Dropping it back down. And then I'm just going to keep making cord. So just acting like I never added those beads. And you see the beads are starting to go away. Bye, beads. They're going down into that center of the tool. I'm going to pull out some more cord. The S-Lon is really tight around its spool, so you'll have to pull that out as you go. And just going to get some more cord at the end here. And then I'm going to lift up my weight. I'm going to push my camera back. And we're going to cut this all out, or release all of this out, and you can see what this looks like. So I'm going to take my scissors, cut off this. Then we're going to release our other end here. And then we're going to go counterclockwise to release our cord up top here. And sometimes I find with this cord, so it really wants to hang on to the S-Lon and to the Amiot. So one thing I'll say is this tool is very easy to use, but sometimes the material that you put in it will make it more challenging. So this cording wants to stay on here, but I've just released it with the crochet hook. So I'm going to pull from this side this time. And look at this. Oh my gosh. This is super fun. So this is using 2 beads. So you've got 1 row of beads, 1 row of knitting, 1 row of beads, 1 row of knitting. And this is those magatamas. They're triangle beads. Super fun. Look at that. If that were a bracelet. If you picked these up in any color, you could get a fun contrasting color, and you got a really fun little funky bracelet that no one else is going to have except all of you art beaters. So this is just a super, super fun way to add beads to your piece. Now, if you wanted to, you could do 4. So where I was skipping, so I was dropping in a bead, doing 1 just pass of the cord, then dropping in another bead, and then another pass of the cord. You could drop in a bead, drop in a bead, drop in a bead after every hook on the knitter. So just easy peasy, and you'll have to load a lot of beads. Now, I don't have a magic formula for you. I think Julie actually counted out. She was using 8/0s, and she counted out 8 beads per inch, I think. And she was doing the 4 beads. So this is where I say, when you get this home, practice. Get your yarn out, get some beads out, get some cord out, and plan to sacrifice some of that cording to practice. So yeah, I sacrificed, this is more yarn and probably some like yard sale yarn, that I use to practice with. But, you know, you might want to plan that this first one you make is probably not going to be the one that you're going to put out on your table at your craft fair to sell. Like, it's not going to be the one that you're going to want to sell or even that you'd want to gift, but maybe you can make it good enough to wear it yourself. And I will say, the end of this one is even harder to finish off than your yarn, but I am confident in you art beaters that you will figure this out. You will be able to finish this off, and you can put crimp ends on this. So there are some crimp ends in the show, in the shopping bag. You can secure this and maybe throw some glue on and then put the crimp end on and make sure you don't have any of the excess hanging out. But you could put crimp ends on either side. Then you can just use a clasp of your own. But there are so many fun possibilities with this I-cord. I am nuts about this. I want to be able to get good enough at this to be able to finish a bracelet. So I want to finish one that's like this, that has the combination of 4 beads and 2 beads. I want to finish that. And I want to finish off my little wreath. And I also want to do something with a charm. So I want to find a way to incorporate a charm. So take it and here's this one. So I want to take my cord and incorporate a charm as well. So there's just so many possibilities. And because there are so many different colors of cord, so much yarn, so much embroidery thread, I mean, the options are absolutely endless. So this is just crazy, crazy fun. I'm going to go back. I know I've missed comments, you guys. I'm so sorry. It was really hard to do this and watch comments. Thank you, Eric and Michelle, for doing this and following up on all of the comments. Oh, I see Anteater Diane. I do math all day, but when beading, I know math. I'm like, Diane, I don't do math all day, and I don't math. I am not a math person at all. So I see talking about heat. What else did I miss? Yeah, you guys were talking about the heat. Thank you for Christy for saying pretty. I see a wow in there. Thank you guys. So this is the I-cord knitter. It is absolutely fun. Let me turn my camera around. I'm going to give some more endorsements for the product. So there are so many videos out there on using this. So Becky Dahl is our resident expert at this tool. So Becky's got a few videos out there. There's even a video from last year's Bead Fest, and Tadashi from Tulip is in the video. So we have a giveaway. And what I'm going to ask is, if you're watching over on Facebook or YouTube, hurry over to artbeads.com/live. Come over and you can participate in the giveaway today, and you will get one of these. So this is an amazing tool, you guys. And remember, you get the weight, you get the hook, and the instructions are part of your packaging. I put my packaging off to the side here. When you open up your packaging, your instructions are on the inside. So don't throw these out if you're going to store in your package. Keep this with your package and with your tool, because you might need to refer to it at some point. So do we have everybody here that wants to participate in the giveaway? You want one of these? So I'm going to ask a question, And you can only answer at artbeads.com/live during the live show to be eligible. I'm going to ask a question, and the first person in the comments here at artbeads.com with the right answer gets one of these amazing tools home to them. So here's your question. Where is the Tulip headquarters? Where is the corporate headquarters for Tulip? Tulip is the brand of this product. Also, one that we used. I need the place and the country where it is. So I'm sorry, the place and country name where it is. We also use crochet hooks and needles from Tulip. So tell me the place and the country where these tools are created, where the headquarters is, where they do all the chatting about this product. So tell me if you know the city and country where this is made, where the headquarters is. I see the answer. Michelle. I think I know who won, but Michelle is the master at picking the winner because she always can see all of the comments better than me. My eyes are blurry at this point. Zandra, yay, Zandra, you are the winner. So Michelle is giving you the instructions on how to find how to get to her to get one of these home to you. So Zandra, you're going to have to tell us how you like working with this. And we would love to have you all share your experience and what you make with the I-cord knitter. It is 50% off through tonight, and the clock is ticking. So 50% off, gift with purchase. And oh, by the way, everything at artbeads.com right now is free shipping. So load up that cart and please check out, because you guys, if you get something in that cart and it sells out and you haven't checked out yet, it gets yanked from your cart, like right out of it. So don't miss the great deal here. It is the special flash sale that we did this weekend. I hope that you all enjoyed at least a little bit of how I've worked with the tool, my experience with the tool. We want to hear how you're doing, so share it with us in the Serious Art Beaters Facebook group. Put a post out there and share your experience and share what you make. I love hanging out with you guys. This is a fun way to end the weekend. And guess what? I'll be back tomorrow morning. So I'll be here at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow for a regular edition of Designing with Deb, but we have some fun stuff to do tomorrow too. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to Eric and Michelle for hanging out on a Sunday night. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful rest of your night, rest of your weekend, guys.